Park Ji-won wiped the sweat from his forehead as he climbed out of the mining shaft. The twin suns of Kepler 442c were setting behind the purple mountains, painting the sky in shades of orange and red. After 3 years on this planet, he still found the sunsets beautiful. The air was thin but breathable, and the ground beneath his feet was solid rock mixed with precious minerals that made this harsh world worth living on. He walked toward the main settlement building, his boots crunching, on the gravel path. New Seoul was not much to look at. 12 metal buildings connected by covered walkways, surrounded by mining equipment and storage containers, but it was home to him and 11 other Korean colonists who had traveled across the galaxy to make a new life. "How did the deep shaft survey go today?" asked his sister Mina as he entered the communications center. She was sitting at her console, monitoring signals from Earth and nearby colonies. Her black hair was tied back in a simple ponytail, and she wore the standard blue work uniform they all used. "Good results," Ji-won replied, setting down his equipment bag. "We found another vein of those blue crystals the Earth buyers want so much. Should keep us busy for another month." Mina smiled and turned back to her screens. She was 2 years younger than Ji-won and much better with technology. While he dug minerals from the ground, she kept them connected to the rest of human space. Ji-won walked to his small quarters and cleaned up for dinner. Tonight was Kim Tae-won's turn to cook for everyone. As colony leader, Tae-won tried to keep their small group together like a family. They ate together most nights, shared the work, and looked after each other. The dining hall was warm and filled with the smell of rice and vegetables. All 12 colonists sat around the large metal table. There was Dr. Song-jun, their medic, who kept everyone healthy. Engineer Cho Hyun-woo maintained their equipment and fixed whatever broke. Lee Do-hyun handled security, though there was not much danger on this empty planet. "Earth sent new orders today," Tae-won announced as they ate. "They want us to increase mining output by 20%. More colonies need our minerals." "We can do it," said Ji-won. "The new shaft is rich with deposits, but we will need to work. Longer hours, no problem," said Yoon Sung-ho, one of the younger miners. "This planet owes us a fortune. We just need to dig it up." Everyone laughed. They were all here for the same reason: to build something better than what they had left behind on Earth. The work was hard, but they were making good money and creating a future for themselves. After dinner, Ji-won walked outside to check the perimeter sensors. It was part of their daily routine. Lee Do-hyun had set up motion detectors around the settlement to watch for dangerous animals or geological changes. The planet had large predators that stayed away from humans, but it was better to be careful. The sensors showed normal readings, no movement except for small animals and wind. Ji-won was about to go back inside when he noticed something strange in the sky. A bright light moved slowly across the stars, too regular to be a meteor. "Mina!" he called through his comm unit. "Are we expecting any supply ships?" "Not for 3 weeks," her voice crackled back. "Why?" "There is something in orbit. Looks like a ship." Mina was quiet for a moment. "I am not reading any signals from it. Could be a trader or explorer that has not made contact yet." Ji-won watched, the light disappear behind the mountains. Maybe it was nothing, but something felt wrong. In 3 years, they had never seen an unscheduled ship. The next morning brought the first sign of real trouble. Cho Hyun-woo came to breakfast looking worried. "3 of my sensors went offline during the night," he reported. "The ones on the eastern ridge." "Equipment failure?" asked Tae-won. "Maybe. But they were working fine yesterday. I will go check them after breakfast." Ji-won volunteered to go with him. The eastern ridge was a 30-minute walk from the settlement, up a rocky slope covered with purple plants that looked like earth flowers but felt like plastic. When they reached the first sensor, Cho Hyun-woo knelt down and examined it carefully. "This was not a malfunction," he said quietly. "Someone cut the power cable with a blade." Jiwon looked around nervously. The sensor was hidden between two large rocks, not easy to find unless you knew where to look. Could an animal have done it? No animal cuts cables this cleanly, Cho Hyun-woo replied. He pointed to the ground. Look at this. There were marks in the dirt that looked almost like footprints, but wrong somehow. Too long and narrow, with what might have been claw marks at the tips. They found the other two sensors in the same condition. All three had been deliberately disabled by someone or something with tools and intelligence. We need to tell the others, said Jiwon. When they got back to the settlement, Mina met them at the door with more bad news. I lost contact with the orbital relay station an hour ago, she said. All outside communications are down. Taiwan called an emergency meeting. All 12 colonists gathered in the main hall while Cho Hyun-woo and Jiwon explained what they had found. So we have unknown visitors, damaged sensors, and no communication with Earth, Taiwan summarized. This could be pirates or raiders. Or something worse, said Dr. Song Jun. Those footprints do not sound human. Lee Do-hyun had been quiet during the discussion. As their security chief, he was the closest thing they had to a soldier, though his training was mostly theoretical. I think we should assume hostile contact, he said finally. We need to prepare defenses and find a way to restore communications. That afternoon, strange things began happening around the settlement. Tools went missing and reappeared in different places. Food supplies were disturbed. The colonists heard sounds at night, scratching and clicking noises that did not match any known animal. Jiwon was working late in the mining office when he heard Mina call his name urgently. Brother, come to the communications center quickly. He ran through the corridors and found her staring at her main screen. Static filled the speakers, but underneath the noise was something that sounded like voices. I have been picking up signals all day, she whispered. Not human signals, listen. The voices were speaking in a language Jiwon had never heard. Harsh, clicking sounds mixed with low growls. But some of the sounds seemed familiar, like badly pronounced Korean words. Soft skins came through the static. New game. Mina adjusted the controls, trying to make the signal clearer. Hunt begins 7 days. The transmission cut off, leaving only silence. Brother and sister looked at each other with growing fear. Whatever was out there, it knew about. Humans. It knew their language, and it was planning something that would start soon. We need to tell the others, Mina said. But as they prepared to leave the communications center, all the lights in the settlement went out. In the sudden darkness, they heard something that made their blood run cold. Laughter. Alien laughter coming from just outside their walls. The emergency lights flickered on 10 minutes after the power died. Red warning lights bathed the settlement in an eerie glow while the backup generator hummed to life. All 12 colonists gathered in the main hall, weapons in their hands. They had mining tools, a few plasma cutters, and Lee Do-hyun's single security rifle. Everyone stay calm, said Kim Tae-won, though his voice shook slightly. Cho Hyun-woo, how long until main power is restored? The engineer was checking his diagnostic tablet. Someone destroyed the main power coupling outside. I can fix it, but I need to go out there. No one goes outside alone, Lee Do-hyun said firmly. We move in groups of 3 or more. Jiwon looked around at his fellow colonists. These were miners and technicians, not soldiers. Dr. Song Jun clutched her medical kit like a shield. Yoon Seong-ho kept looking at the windows nervously. They were scared, and they had good reason to be. The alien transmission, Mina said quietly. They mentioned 7 days. Maybe they are giving us time to prepare. Prepare for what? Asked colonist Park Youngmin. Before anyone could answer, the settlement's communication system crackled to life. The speakers throughout the building began broadcasting a voice speaking in broken Korean. Human colony, listen, now. The voice was wrong. It sounded like someone had recorded Korean words and was playing them back without understanding. What they meant, the accent was harsh and clicking, definitely not human. We are Velkari. Hunt Syndicate, you have been chosen. Taewon stepped toward the main speaker. This is colony leader Kim Taewon. Who are you? What do you want? Alien laughter filled the speakers. Then the voice continued. Your species, new to galaxy. We test all new species. Great hunt tradition of 1,000 years. What kind of test? Taewon demanded. You run. We hunt. 7 days. You survive. We leave your kind alone. You die. We mark Earth colonies as hunting grounds. The colonists looked at each other with growing horror. They were being offered as prey in some alien hunting game. This is barbaric, Dr. Songjun whispered. We are intelligent beings, not animals. Intelligence makes hunt interesting, the voice replied, apparently having heard her. Stupid, prey, boring, smart, prey, fun. Lee Do-yun stepped forward, raising his rifle toward the speaker. We refuse your test. Leave our planet immediately. More alien laughter echoed. Through the settlement. No. Choice. Given. Hunt. Begins. At sunrise. We follow. Rules. To make. Fair. Only. Primitive. Weapons. Hunt. 1. Species. At time. 7 days. 2. Prove. Human. Worth. The transmission ended with a series of clicks and growls that might have been alien conversation. Then silence. They think we are just animals, said Yoon Sung-ho angrily. How dare they? It does not matter what they think, Ji-won said. What matters is surviving the next 7 days. Taewon organized them quickly. They would use the mining, tunnels as shelter, and create defensive positions around the settlement. Mina would keep trying to contact Earth for help, though rescue was months away even if the message got through. At sunrise, they saw their hunters for the first time. 3. Different alien species had landed near the settlement. Ji-won watched them through binoculars from a hidden position in the rocks above the colony. The first group looked like giant lizards walking on 2 legs. They were 8 feet tall with thick scales and massive claws. They carried primitive spears and axes, but their movements were fast and coordinated. The second group moved like insects. They had 6 arms each and walked on 4 legs while the other 2 arms held weapons. Their heads were triangular with large compound eyes. They made clicking sounds as they communicated. The third group was the most frightening. They were huge. Maybe 12 feet tall, covered in what looked like natural armor. They carried massive clubs and hammers. When they walked, the ground shook. 36 aliens total, Lee Do-yun reported through the radio. 12 of each species. They have set up camps around our perimeter. Any sign of advanced technology? Asked Taewon. They seem to be following their own rules about primitive weapons. But I saw their ships. They definitely have advanced technology available. The first attack came at midday. 6 of the lizard-like aliens approached the main settlement building while the others watched from a distance. They moved carefully, testing for traps and defensive positions. Lee Do-hyun had positioned himself in the mining office with his rifle. When the aliens reached the main door, he opened fire. The plasma bolts struck the lead alien in the chest, burning through its scales. It screamed and fell backward. The other aliens scattered, seeking cover behind the equipment containers. They had not expected the humans to have energy weapons. First blood to us, Lee Do-yun reported. But they are. Learning our positions, the aliens regrouped and tried a different approach. 3 of them created a distraction at the front, while 2 more climbed up the back of the building. They were testing human tactics and reactions. Cho Hyun-woo was waiting for them on the roof with a plasma cutter. When the first alien appeared, over the edge, he activated the tool. The focused energy beam cut through the alien's weapon and left arm. It fell from the building with another scream. By evening, the humans had killed 3 aliens and wounded 2 more, but they had also learned something disturbing. The aliens were not angry about their losses. They seemed excited. "They are enjoying this," Ji-won told the others during their evening meeting in the tunnels. "This is entertainment for them." Then, "We make it very expensive entertainment," said Dr. Song-jun. She had been treating Lee Do-yoon's shoulder wound from an alien spear that had found its mark. That night, Ji-won volunteered for watch duty. He positioned himself in the tunnel entrance with a mining explosive and a remote detonator. If aliens tried to enter their underground shelter, he would collapse the entrance. Around midnight, he heard movement outside, careful footsteps on gravel, trying to be quiet. He activated his night vision scope and saw 2 of the insect-like aliens investigating the tunnel opening. They were carrying some kind of scanning device, sweeping it back and forth, probably trying to map the underground passages. Ji-won waited until they were directly in front of the entrance, then triggered the explosive. The tunnel mouth collapsed in a shower of rock and dust. When the debris settled, both aliens were buried underneath. But Ji-won also heard something else. Alien voices shouting in what sounded like approval. He realized with cold certainty that the aliens were impressed rather than angry. They had expected easy prey, but humans were fighting back effectively. This was exactly what they wanted, a challenging hunt. The thought made him angry. These aliens saw human lives as a game. They had probably done this to dozens of other species across the galaxy. How many civilizations had they destroyed for sport? As he made his way back through the tunnels to report the latest kills, Ji-won began thinking differently. The aliens wanted a hunt. They wanted prey that would run and hide and eventually die. But what if humans refused to be prey? What if they became the hunters instead? The idea grew in his mind as he walked through the dark tunnels. These aliens had made a mistake. They had given humans 7 days and underestimated what humans could do when their survival was at stake. It was time to show them that Earth's children were not prey. They were predators. Day 3 of the Great Hunt began with bad news. Park Youngman was missing. He had been on watch duty at the northern tunnel entrance when the aliens attacked. Lee Do-hyun found signs of a struggle and strange burn marks on the tunnel walls, but no body. Just drag marks leading away into the wilderness. "They took him alive," Lee Do-hyun reported grimly. "Probably for questioning or to study human biology." The remaining 11 colonists gathered in the deepest part of the tunnel system. Their temporary home was lit by battery-powered lights and heated by a small portable generator. Food and water were rationed carefully. "We cannot keep hiding underground," said Ji-won. "They will find all our entrances eventually." "The insect aliens are getting better at tracking us," Mina added. She had been monitoring alien communications with her modified equipment. "They leave scent trails to mark areas they have searched." Dr. Song-jun was treating minor injuries from the previous day's fighting. "We need to think about their weaknesses instead of just reacting to their attacks." Ji-won had been thinking about exactly that. During the night, he had studied the alien behavior patterns from their hidden cameras. Each species hunted differently. "The big armored ones rely on strength," he explained to the group. "They break through obstacles rather than going around them. The lizard people use heat vision to track us. The insect ones work together like a swarm." "So how do we use that against them?" asked Cho Hyun-woo. "We give them what they expect, then surprise them with something else." Ji-won outlined his plan. They would split into 3 teams and use the aliens' hunting instincts against them. Each team would target a different species using specific tactics designed for that enemy. Team 1 would handle the armored giants. Cho Hyun-woo had rigged mining charges that could be triggered remotely. If they could lure the big aliens into the right positions, they could bring down rock slides or collapse structures. Team 2 would deal with the lizard hunters. Dr. Song Jun had discovered that the medical heat packs from their emergency supplies could create false heat signatures. They could confuse the thermal vision and lead the aliens into traps. Team 3, led by Jiwon himself, would focus on the insect swarm. These were the most dangerous because they coordinated their attacks, but they also relied heavily on chemical communication. Industrial cleaning solvents from the mining equipment might disrupt their scent trails. "This is very dangerous," warned Taewon. "We are not soldiers." "Neither were our ancestors when they fought tigers and bears," replied Jiwon, "but they learned to hunt or they died." The first test came that afternoon. 6 of the armored giants approached the main settlement, looking for human hiding spots. Cho Hyun-woo had positioned mining charges along the support beams of the equipment storage building. He waited until all 6 aliens were inside the building, searching through the containers. Then he triggered the charges. The building collapsed in a shower of metal and concrete. When the dust settled, 3 of the giant aliens were trapped under the debris. 2 others were badly injured and limping away. Only 1 escaped without harm. "It worked," Cho Hyun-woo reported through his radio. "But the survivor is calling for help." More aliens were coming. The humans needed to move fast. Team 2 struck next. Dr. Song Jun and 2 other colonists had planted heat packs throughout the eastern mine shaft. When 4 lizard hunters entered the tunnel, their heat vision showed dozens of human-shaped hotspots. The confused aliens spread out to investigate each heat signature. They did not realize until too late that the real humans were hiding behind cooling pipes, invisible to thermal sensors. Lee Do-yun opened fire with his rifle while the others used plasma cutters. Caught by surprise in the narrow tunnel, 3 lizard aliens died quickly. The 4th one escaped, but was badly wounded. But Team 3 faced the biggest challenge. The insect aliens had learned to be more careful after losing several members. They moved in tight groups and checked everything twice before advancing. Ji-won and his team tried to disrupt their scent trails with chemical solvents, but the aliens adapted quickly. They began using visual signals instead of chemical ones. "They are smarter than we thought," Yoon Sung-ho reported as they retreated deeper into the tunnels. "They figured out our trick in minutes." The insect hunters pressed their attack. 8 of them entered the tunnel system from multiple entrances, trying to surround the humans. Their compound eyes could see well in the dark, and their 6 limbs made them excellent climbers. The tunnel battle lasted for hours. Humans used mining, explosives, and industrial tools while the aliens fought with spears and cutting weapons. The confined space worked both ways. Aliens could not use their numbers effectively, but humans had nowhere to run. When it was over, 3 more aliens were dead, but the humans had paid a price. Yoon Sung-ho was badly injured by alien claws, and colonist Han Junho had been killed when an insect warrior got too close. They were down to 10 people. That evening, something unexpected happened. The alien communication system crackled to life again, but this time the voice sounded different, less confident. "Humans fight better than expected," the voice admitted. "Hunt, Master Keth, wishes to speak." A new voice came through the speakers. This one spoke Korean much better, with fewer pauses and mistakes. "Human colony leader, I am Hunt Master Keth of the Velkari Syndicate. Your species shows promising hunting skills," Taewon responded carefully. "We are not hunting, we are defending our home." "Defense and hunting are the same thing," Keth replied. "You track our movements. You learn our weaknesses. You set traps and ambushes. These are hunter behaviors." "What is your point?" "The Great Hunt has rules, but rules can change if prey becomes predator. You have killed 12 of my hunters in 3 days. This has not happened before." Jiwon grabbed the microphone. "Then maybe you should reconsider your traditions." Keth laughed, but it sounded different from the cruel laughter of the first day. There was respect in it. Perhaps. But the hunt continues. 4 days remain. If you can kill more hunters than we kill humans, the Syndicate will declare your species worthy of consideration for membership, rather than marking you as prey. What does that mean? Asked Taiwan. It means Earth's children would become hunters. Instead of hunted, your colonies would be safe, and we would offer you contracts to hunt truly dangerous prey across the galaxy. The transmission ended, leaving the colonists to consider this new development. They are offering us a way out, said Dr. Song Jun. They are offering us a way to become like them, Mina corrected. Jiwon stared at the silent speaker. The aliens had killed Han Junho and Park Youngmin. They had threatened all of humanity. But now they were talking about partnership. He thought about his dead friends and made his decision. We do not need to become like them, he said quietly. We just need to show them what happens when you hunt humans. Day 4 brought a change in tactics that surprised even Jiwon. Instead of waiting for the aliens to attack, he decided to hunt them first. They expect us to hide and defend, he explained to the others as they prepared their equipment. But humans did not become the dominant species on Earth by hiding in caves. The 10 remaining colonists had learned much about their enemies. The aliens were stronger and faster than humans, but they had weaknesses. They relied too heavily on their advanced technology during normal times, and when forced to use primitive weapons, they became predictable. More importantly, they had never faced prey that refused to act like prey. Jiwon's first target was a group of 3 lizard hunters who had been tracking human movements near the eastern ridge. These aliens used thermal vision and excellent hearing, but they hunted the same way every time. He spent 2 hours preparing the ambush site. First, he used medical heat packs to create false thermal signatures in a wide circle. Then he buried himself under a pile of cold rocks, invisible to heat sensors. Finally, he waited. The 3 lizard aliens approached just after noon. Their thermal vision showed them dozens of heat sources, but they had learned to be suspicious of the heat pack trick. They moved carefully, testing each hot spot with their spears before getting close. What they did not expect was for the real human to be hiding in the one place that showed no heat at all. When the lead alien passed within arm's reach of his hiding spot, Jiwon struck with a plasma cutter. The focused energy beam cut through the alien's neck before it could make a sound. The body fell silently. The second alien heard the noise and turned to investigate. Jiwon was already moving, using the terrain to stay out of sight. He threw a small mining charge toward the alien's feet and triggered it remotely. The explosion killed the second hunter and alerted the third one to danger. But by then, Jiwon was behind it with another plasma cutter. 3 aliens dead in less than 5 minutes. Target eliminated, he reported through his radio. No casualties. Back at the settlement, Mina had been monitoring alien communications. Brother, you need to hear this. They are talking about you specifically. The intercepted alien conversation was disturbing. The hunters were discussing human tactics and mentioning one individual who seemed to understand hunting better than the others. They called him the clever soft skin and were treating him as a serious threat. They want to capture you alive, Mina warned. The hunt master thinks you might be some kind of human warrior specialist. Good, Jiwon replied. Let them think that. But he was learning something important about alien psychology. These creatures respected strength and cunning. The more dangerous he became, the more they wanted to test themselves against him. That afternoon, Lee Do-hyun led an attack on the alien supply cache. The hunters had been storing extra weapons and supplies in a cave system north of the settlement. 4 colonists approached the cave while the others created a diversion elsewhere. The cave was guarded by 2 of the massive armored aliens. These creatures were nearly impossible to kill with conventional weapons, but they had one critical weakness. Their armor was strongest against direct attacks, but vulnerable to indirect pressure. Cho Hyun-woo had prepared a special surprise. Instead of trying to cut through the alien armor, he had rigged a device that would create a powerful electromagnetic pulse. The aliens' primitive weapons would not be affected, but their life support systems might be. All aliens wear some kind of breathing apparatus, Dr. Song Jun had observed. Even though they can breathe our air, they have filters or enhancers. Disrupt those systems and they become vulnerable. The EMP device worked perfectly. Both Guardian aliens suddenly began gasping and clawing at their breathing equipment. In their panic, they forgot about tactics and charged directly at the humans. Lee Do-hyun and his team had prepared pit traps lined with mining equipment. The charging aliens fell into the pits and were killed by industrial plasma cutters activated remotely. Inside the cave, they found not only weapons, but also recordings of previous alien hunts. The data showed that the Velkari had destroyed 17 different species over the past century. Humans were just the latest victims. "Look at this," said colonist Kim So-man, pointing at one of the recordings. "They have been hunting intelligent species for sport across the entire galaxy." The evidence made Ji-won even more determined to end the Great Hunt permanently. That evening, he made a proposal that shocked everyone. "I want to capture one of them alive," he announced. "We need information about their command structure and their technology." "That is incredibly dangerous," warned Dr. Song Jun. "We barely survived fighting them. Trying to take one prisoner could get us all killed." "We have killed 15 of their hunters," Ji-won replied. "They started with 36. We are winning this war, but we need to understand our enemy better." He had identified the perfect target. One of the insect hunters had been separated from its group during the afternoon battle. It was wounded but still dangerous, hiding in the ruins of the collapsed storage building. The capture operation took place at midnight. Ji-won approached the alien's hiding spot with a modified mining tool that could generate a neural disruption field. The device was designed for stunning, dangerous animals, but it might work on aliens, too. The wounded insect warrior fought viciously when cornered. Its remaining functional arms wielded 2 curved blades that could cut through metal. But the neural disruptor finally overwhelmed its nervous system, and it collapsed unconscious. They dragged the alien back to the tunnels and secured it with mining cable. When it woke up several hours later, Ji-won was waiting with questions. "Your name?" he demanded in broken alien speech he had learned from intercepted communications. The creature clicked and hissed angrily but refused to respond. Ji-won tried a different approach. He showed the alien recordings of its dead packmates. "Your hunters are dying. Your huntmaster is failing. Help us, and you live." The alien's compound eyes focused on him with what might have been surprise. It spoke in its clicking language, then switched to broken Korean. "You, not prey," it said slowly. "You, apex, predator, like us." "Tell me about your command structure," Ji-won demanded. "Hunt, master, Keth, leads, 3 species, from 3 worlds. We hunt together for glory and sport." "How many ships in orbit?" 5 ships. 200 warriors. Total. Only 36. Allowed to hunt. Rules of Great Hunt. Ji-won felt a chill. There were more than 200 aliens in orbit, but only 36 were allowed to participate in the hunt. If the humans killed all the hunters, what would the others do? "What happens if we kill all the hunters?" he asked. The alien made a sound that might have been laughter. "Then you become hunters yourself. Great honor. Very rare. And if we refuse, then all warriors come down. No rules. No sport. Just extermination." The alien had revealed the true stakes. This was not just about surviving 7 days. It was about proving that humans deserve to exist in a galaxy full of predators. Ji-won looked at his exhausted, wounded fellow colonists. They had been farmers and miners a week ago. Now they were warriors fighting for the future of humanity. "How many hunters are left?" he asked the alien prisoner. 18. Warriors. Still hunt. But you killed best ones. Rest are afraid of clever, soft skin. 18 enemies remained. 3.5 days to finish them all. Jiwan smiled grimly. The aliens thought they were playing a game. It was time to show them that humans played to win. Day 5 changed everything. Jiwan had spent the night planning something that no alien hunter would expect. Instead of defending or even ambushing, he was going to do something that would terrify predators across the galaxy. He was going to make them afraid to hunt. "The alien prisoner gave us everything we need to know," he told the others as they gathered in the deep tunnels. "Their command structure, their technology, their fears. Now we use that information to end this hunt." The captured insect warrior had revealed more than just numbers. It had told them about alien psychology. The Velkari respected only strength and cunning. Fear was something they inflicted on prey, not something they felt themselves. "They have never been prey," Jiwan explained. "Every species they hunt either fights traditionally or runs and hides. But what if we make them feel like prey animals?" His plan was complex and dangerous. The remaining 18 hunters were split into 3 groups of 6, each group containing 2 aliens from each species. They coordinated their attacks, but also competed with each other for kills and glory. Jiwan intended to use that competition to destroy them. First, he needed to capture their communication equipment. The aliens used advanced technology to coordinate attacks, even though they were limited to primitive weapons. If he could access their communications, he could turn them against each other. The raid on the alien base camp took place just before dawn. Jiwan and 4 other colonists approached the temporary shelters where the hunters kept their equipment and rested between hunts. The camp was guarded by 2 aliens, 1 lizard hunter and 1 massive armored warrior. They were alert but focused, on watching for attacks from the settlement, not from the wilderness behind them. Mina had given Jiwan a modified communication device that could intercept and record alien transmissions. If he could get close enough to their equipment, he could learn their frequencies and access codes. The approach took 2 hours of careful movement. Jiwan crawled through purple vegetation and around rock formations, staying invisible to the guards. When he reached the equipment tent, he could hear alien voices inside discussing the day's hunting plans. He planted small recording devices near the alien communication gear and retreated without being detected. Within an hour, Mina had broken their codes and could monitor all alien communications. "Brother, this is incredible," she whispered through the radio. "I can hear everything they say to each other, and I think I can send messages that look like they come from other aliens." Phase 2 began immediately. Mina started broadcasting false messages between the alien groups. She told the lizard hunters that the insect warriors were claiming credit for kills they had not made. She informed the armored giants that the other species were planning to eliminate them and take all the glory. The psychological warfare worked, better than expected. By midday, the 3 alien species were openly suspicious of each other. Their coordinated attacks became sloppy as each group tried to claim the best hunting grounds. "Team Alpha, this is incredible," reported Lee Do-yun from his observation post. "The big armored aliens just attacked a group of lizard hunters. They are fighting each other instead of hunting us." But the real terror began when Jiwan started hunting the hunters. He had studied their patrol routes and identified the most isolated and arrogant hunters. These were aliens who ventured away from their groups, confident that no mere human could threaten them. His first target was a lizard hunter named Vexka, according to intercepted communications. This alien had killed 2 humans during the early days of the hunt and was boasting about its skill to the others. Jiwan tracked Vexka to a rocky canyon where it was searching for human hiding spots. Instead of confronting the alien directly, he began a campaign of psychological terror. First, he left the bodies of 3 previously killed aliens arranged in a pattern where Vex-Ka would find them. The message was clear. Humans were collecting trophies. Then he began following the alien hunter, staying just out of sight but making enough noise to be noticed. Every time Vex-Ka turned to look, Ji-won disappeared. But he left traces, footprints, broken vegetation, the smell of human sweat. For 6 hours, Ji-won stalked the increasingly nervous alien. He used the hunter's own thermal vision against it, by creating false heat signatures that appeared and vanished randomly. He played recordings of human voices that seemed to come from empty air. By evening, the mighty lizard hunter was jumping at shadows and calling for help from its packmates. When it finally stopped to rest in what it thought was a secure position, Ji-won struck. But he did not kill Vex-Ka immediately. Instead, he wounded it carefully with a plasma cutter, making sure the injury was painful but not fatal. Then he dragged the screaming alien to a prominent location where others would find it. He left Vex-Ka tied up with mining cable, alive but marked with human scent. When the other hunters found their packmate, they would know that humans could capture and release prey at will. The psychological impact was enormous. Alien communications became frantic as the hunters realized they were no longer the predators in this equation. "The soft-skinned devil knows our every move," one terrified alien broadcast. "It hunts us like we hunt prey animals." Huntmaster Keth must call additional warriors, another replied. "The rules of Great Hunt are broken. The prey has become predator." But Huntmaster Keth refused to call for help. "The hunt continues according to tradition. Any warrior who cannot face clever prey is not worthy of Velkhari honor." That decision would cost him half his remaining hunters. Day 6 brought the systematic elimination of the alien hunting groups. Ji-won had become something that no alien had ever faced. A human who understood that the greatest weapon was not strength or speed, but the ability to think like prey and act like a predator. He attacked the aliens' food supplies with industrial chemicals that made them sick but did not kill them immediately. He sabotaged their equipment so that weapons failed at critical moments. He used their own recorded voices to lure them into traps. Most terrifying of all, he began taking trophies, alien weapons, pieces of armor, even severed claws and scales, were left in places where other hunters would find them. The message was clear. Humans were not just surviving, they were collecting souvenirs. By the end of Day 6, only 8 aliens remained alive. The others had been killed, captured, or had fled in terror back to their ships. The surviving hunters had barricaded themselves in the ruins of the main settlement building, afraid to venture out and hunt. They sent desperate communications to their orbiting ships, begging for permission to use advanced weapons or call for reinforcements. Huntmaster Keith finally answered their pleas with a personal message that chilled the remaining hunters. "You have faced 1 human and 8 farmers," his voice crackled through their communications. "If you cannot defeat them with honor, you do not deserve to return to Velkhari space. Complete the hunt or die trying." That night, Ji-won made his final preparations. Tomorrow was Day 7, the last day of the Great Hunt. 8 aliens remained, all of them cornered and desperate. But he had learned something important from the captured alien. There were 200 warriors in orbit, waiting to see how the hunt ended. If he killed the last 8 hunters, humanity would earn respect from the Velkhari. But if any humans survived while alien hunters also survived, the result would be different. The aliens would declare the hunt inconclusive and return with overwhelming force to exterminate the colony. Ji-won looked at his 9 remaining fellow colonists. They were exhausted, wounded, and running low on supplies. But they had proven something that no alien species had ever proven before. Humans were not prey. They were apex predators who had simply been pretending to be civilized. Tomorrow, he would finish teaching that lesson to the galaxy. Day 7 dawned with an alien transmission that surprised everyone. "Human colony leader," Huntmaster Keth's voice came through the speakers. "The great hunt ends at sunset today. Current count shows 8 hunters remain alive. 10 humans remain alive." This has never happened before. Jiwon took the microphone. He had been awake all night, preparing for the final confrontation. "What does that mean for the rules of your hunt?" "It means the Velkari Council must decide. You have proven humans are not simple prey, but you have not proven you are apex predators like us. The hunt result is unclear." "Then let me make it clear," Jiwon replied. "Your remaining 8 hunters are barricaded in our settlement, afraid to come out and fight. They are acting like prey, not predators." Alien laughter came through the speakers, but it sounded different now. Less confident, more thoughtful, perhaps. "But they are still alive, as are you. Traditionally, such results require a final test." "What kind of test?" "Single combat. Your best warrior against our best hunter. Winner determines the fate of both species." Jiwon looked around at his fellow colonists. They were farmers, miners, and technicians who had become warriors out of necessity. None of them were trained fighters in the traditional sense, but they had something the aliens did not understand. They fought not for glory or sport, but for survival and for each other. "I accept," Jiwon said. "When and where?" "Sunset. The landing field outside your settlement. No weapons except what each fighter brings. No interference from others." The transmission ended, leaving the colonists to prepare for the final confrontation. "You do not have to do this," said his sister Mina. "We could try to hold out until Earth sends help." "Help is months away," Jiwon replied, "and there are 200 alien warriors in orbit. If this hunt fails, they will come down and kill everyone on this planet." Dr. Song Jun checked his injuries from the past week of fighting. A dozen cuts and burns, 2 cracked ribs, and exhaustion that went down to his bones. But he was alive, and more importantly, he was angry. "The aliens made a mistake," he told the others as they prepared his equipment. "They think this is about individual combat skill, but humans do not fight as individuals. We fight as a team, even when only one of us is in the ring." As sunset approached, all the remaining aliens emerged from their hiding places. The 8 surviving hunters formed a circle around the landing field while their ships descended from orbit. Hundreds of alien warriors watched from the ship ramps, eager to see how this unprecedented situation would be resolved. Huntmaster Keth was a massive creature, 12 feet tall and covered in natural armor that looked like black metal. He carried a traditional Velkari weapon, a curved blade attached to a long handle that could cut through almost anything. Jiwon walked onto the field carrying a modified mining tool and wearing improvised armor made from equipment plating. He looked small and fragile compared to his opponent, but appearances could be deceiving. "Human warrior," Keth spoke in perfect Korean. "You have impressed the Velkari. Your tactics show genuine hunting instinct. If you survive this combat, we will offer your species membership in our syndicate. And if I do not survive? Then humanity joins the 17 other species we have hunted to extinction." The combat began at sunset. Keth moved with surprising speed for such a large creature, swinging his blade in deadly arcs that could have cut Jiwon in half. But Jiwon had spent 7 days learning how aliens fought. They relied on strength, speed, and superior weapons. They followed predictable attack patterns based on their species' natural advantages. Humans did none of those things. Instead of meeting the aliens' attack directly, Jiwon used tactics that no honorable warrior would consider. He threw dirt in Keth's eyes, used the landing field's uneven surface to trip his opponent, and struck at joints and weak points rather than fighting head-on. Most importantly, he used the mining tool in ways it was never designed for. The plasma. Cutter became a defensive weapon, creating energy barriers that forced Keth to change his attack angles. The electromagnetic pulse generator disrupted the alien's enhanced reflexes. "You fight without honor," Keth growled as he circled warily. "I fight to win," Jiwan replied. The battle lasted for an hour. Both fighters were bleeding and exhausted when Jiwan finally saw his opportunity. Keth had been favoring his left leg since stumbling over a piece of equipment. The joint armor was cracked and leaking fluid. Instead of attacking the obvious weakness, Jiwan feinted toward the damaged leg, then struck at Keth's weapon arm when the alien shifted to protect his injury. The plasma cutter severed tendons and muscle. Keth's blade fell from nerveless fingers. "Yield," Jiwan demanded, pointing his weapon at the alien's throat. But Keth laughed. "Velkari, do not surrender. Kill me with honor, human warrior." Jiwan looked around at the hundreds of aliens watching from their ships. These creatures respected only strength and killing. If he showed mercy, they would see it as weakness. But if he killed their huntmaster in cold blood, what would that make him? He made a decision that would change the relationship between humans and aliens forever. "No," he said loudly enough for everyone to hear. "Humans do not kill defeated enemies who fought with honor. You are beaten, but alive. That is how my species shows strength." The watching aliens fell silent. This was unprecedented. No species in their experience had ever shown mercy to a defeated Velkari. "You spare me?" Keth asked in confusion. "I spare you because killing is not the only way to win," Jiwan replied. "Humans understand something your species has forgotten. The strongest predator is the one who knows when not to kill." Huntmaster Keth struggled to his feet, staring at Jiwan with what might have been respect or confusion. "The great hunt is over," he announced to the assembled aliens. "Humans have proven they are not prey, but they have also proven they are not like us." "What does that mean?" called one of the ship commanders. "It means they are something new. Something we have never encountered." Keth turned to Jiwan. "Your species will not be hunted by the Velkari, but neither will you be invited to join our hunts. You have shown mercy to enemies. This makes you dangerous in ways we do not understand." The alien ships began lifting off, carrying the survivors back to their distant worlds. But before his own ship departed, Huntmaster Keth approached Jiwan one final time. "Human warrior, your people will spread across the galaxy. When they do, they will meet species like us who see only strength or weakness. Remember this day. Remember that mercy can be a weapon more powerful than any blade." 5 years later, the mining colony on Kepler 442c had grown into a major settlement. New Sol was now home to 50,000 humans and served as a hub for expansion into alien space. Park Ji-won had become something he never expected, a diplomat who specialized in contact with hostile alien species. His reputation had spread across the galaxy along with the story of the Great Hunt. Some alien races still saw humans as potential prey, but others had heard about the species that showed mercy to defeated enemies, and they were curious about these strange creatures who fought like predators but thought like something entirely different. Standing in his office overlooking the bustling spaceport, Jiwan watched as human ships departed for distant stars. Each carried colonists, explorers, and diplomats who would meet new alien species. They would face dangers and challenges that would test everything humanity had learned about survival in a hostile galaxy, but they would also carry something that no other species possessed. The knowledge that the greatest strength was not the ability to kill enemies, but the wisdom to know when killing was unnecessary. His sister Mina joined him at the window. She was now the colony's chief communications officer, maintaining contact with human settlements across a dozen star systems. "Message from Earth," she reported. "The Colonial Council wants to know if you will accept assignment as ambassador to the Draconian Empire." Apparently, they have been making threatening moves toward our outer colonies. Jiwan smiled. The Draconian Empire was known throughout the galaxy as a civilization of ruthless conquerors who had never been defeated in war. "Tell them I accept," he said. "It is time to teach another species about the humans from the small blue world." Outside the window, ships continued to launch toward distant stars, carrying Earth's children to their destiny among the predators of the galaxy. The hunt was over, but humanity's real journey was just beginning.